Librium versus lithium or whatever, I can't remember the two terms, but they were very close. They gave him the wrong prescription and he got really sick. So that was a risk to the state, you know, we had a claim for that. So in my job with the state, I handled claims, especially those under the Tort Claims Act, okay? Does anyone know the word tort? What's a tort? Okay, it means a wrong, okay? And so, whenever somebody's wrong or feel like they're wrong, they make a claim against the state. It wasn't long before I got into I started work for a regular company. And how many shop at Smith's supermarkets, for example? Your parents, whatever, Winco, or whatever. I worked for a supermarket company, a company that owned lots of supermarkets. And what do you think the risks associated with a supermarket would be? Bad food, it could possibly be.
Bad products.
Yes.
Robbery.
Robberies, okay. I'm just going to put that as crime, okay? Because crime could be pretty broad.
Employee injury.
Employees, yes. What else? Yes.
Maybe like electricity, like something happened.
Yeah, power outage, yeah, business interruption, they call it. Absolutely. I'm going to put business interruption.
Customers.
Okay, the business is interrupted. Okay, let me tell you, the most common risk in a supermarket in terms of numbers of incidents is shopping cart. Because people leave them all over the shop, all over the parking lot, and they run into people's vehicles. And so they'll go to the supermarket and they'll say, somebody dented my car. The second most common thing is a little more serious. It's someone slipping and falling, you know, because supermarkets usually have glossy floors, very shiny floors. And if there's a grape that falls off the grape counter onto the floor, somebody could slip and fall and make a claim against the supermarket. Okay? So that's the most serious risk there. But there's certainly others, okay? I did risk management for a shipbuilding company, a company in Maine that built ships for the U.S. Navy. Big ships. And there the most common risks were basically its employees and other marine related risks. Okay? And now I've gone to work for E.D. Bullard Company, and I want to talk to you a little bit about E.D. Bullard. I'll write it on the board so that you can remember it. E stands for Edward, D for Donald, but you don't have to know that. It's just the company's name is E.D. Bullard. So anyway, Bullard's, the company started out in 1898 in San Francisco, California, and the company at that time delivered safety products to the mines in Northern California. Okay, and the founder's son, Mr. Bullard's son, came back from World War I in about 1919. He decided that workers needed head protection like the soldiers did, so he invented the first hard hat. And so Bullard, since that time, has been a manufacturer of hard hats. Now the first hard hat was not made of plastic like this one was. This is a reinforced plastic, so it's very hard. But that was made out of canvas, and the canvas was boiled in a resin, R-E-S-I-N, and you can think of a resin as glue for basically. So the first hard hat was boiled in resin, it was canvas, and then it was allowed to cool and it became very hard, and workers could wear it and it would protect their heads. So since 1919, then, Bullard has been manufacturing hard hats. The first project mandating the use of that was the building of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. How many have seen the Golden Gate Bridge? Or been on it? It's a wondrous bridge, but it has a certain color. And when they were shipping the steel out, it was all rusted and they had to sandblast it. How many of you ever seen a sandblasting operation? Well, this is what a sandblaster is doing. You see this nozzle that he's holding? Sand comes out of that at a very high speed and it hits the metal and it cleans the surface. Okay? And so he blasts the metal to make it clean so they can then paint it the color that the Golden Gate Bridge is painted. And the company came to Bullard and said, we need protection because when that sand hits the metal, it creates clouds of dust. And our workers breathe in that dust and it's not healthy for your lungs. And so Bullard manufactured the first air-supplied respirator. This is a modern air-supplied respirator. The early ones were made out of canvas. But it was positive air in here that didn't allow the dust to get in, so same principle. And then Bullard got into making fire helmets. And we make 2 different fire helmets. This is the traditional one, because the traditional one started, I'm just going to set this here if that's okay. The traditional one used to be made out of canvas, like I talked to the first hard hat was. And these ridges represent where they stitched the canvas together, okay? And firemen like that traditional look, a lot of firemen do. And so we make this is made out of thermoplastic. It's very heat resistant. And anyway, this is the traditional model. This is the more modern version of a fire helmet. And I'll pass these around in a while and you can heft them because they are a little heavier than we expect. And then Bullard got into making thermal image cameras, you know. What's the most important thing firemen do when they go to a fire? What's the first thing they try to do?
Put out the fire. They try and put it out.
Okay. Before they try to put it out, what do?
Look for survivors.
They look for people in the building. They need to make sure everybody's safe first, right? But then they fight the fire, right? So they usually, when they their normal procedure when they come to a fire is to go into the fire on their hands and knees. Why do you think they go in on their hands and knees? Yes.
Because the fire could be up high.
It could be. Heat rises first of all, so does the smoke, and so it's clear to see on the bottom. So they have to go on their hands and knees and search the house or the building or whatever for people. That takes a lot